The average public school district in the United States enrolls about 3,700 students, according to a recent Governing magazine analysis. In North Carolina, the average school district enrolls more than 12,500 students. Only 6 other states in the nation exceed North Carolina in this regard, including Hawaii, where all 187,000 students are in a single district. Although North Carolina politicos and activists normally exhibit a great deal of interest in state education comparisons, most either ignore the fact that we stick out like a sore thumb on school governance or attempt, rather awkwardly, to label it virtue, rather than an oddity. Some are explicitly demanding the creation of smaller, more manageable districts. Others aren't waiting for policymakers to catch up with their preferences, opting instead for chartered public schools, each of which has its own governance board, or private alternatives, if they can swing them. In the face of these developments, the education establishment offers 2 defenses: cost and race. County-wide school districts reduce the cost per student for delivering education, the argument goes, while combating resegregation. Neither argument can withstand close scrutiny, which is why the powers that be keep trying to change the subject as quickly as they can. This strategy isn't going to work in the long run. It would be wiser to prepare for a future in which North Carolina public schools are organized differently, with multiple districts coexisting in at least a dozen or so of our counties. I believe this future is inevitable. The efficiency argument for big districts just doesn't comport with the available evidence. While consolidating sparsely populated rural districts into larger entities probably did exploit economies of scale to reduce operating cost per pupil, there is very little evidence of such benefits when school districts run into the tens of thousands of students. Moreover, even if construction costs and other expenses are lower at large enrollment scales, the purpose of public schools is to educate students, not merely to house them. While the empirical literature is mixed on the subject of optimal district size, there is a compelling body of evidence suggesting that competition is good for school quality, that the more options families have within a given geographic area, the better those options tend to be. Debates about competition in education tend to focus on alternatives to public schools, but in this case I'm just talking about having multiple school districts within a metropolitan area, rather than just one. One recent study found that, everything else being equal, pupils score lower in states that restrict the number of districts, an effect that makes school districts less efficient.